What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Suit Up Geek Fix channel. Today we are breaking down and holding a spoiler review of episode 4 of the Wheel of Time, and that is the Dragon Reborn. And to help me do that, I've got the man, the myth, the legend. He is Christian. What's going on, dude?
What's going on, everybody? Happy Black Friday. I feel a lot better. I can talk without coughing now. It's amazing. It's fantastic. Thank you for having me back on. You know, we're here to talk about some episode 4 of the Wheel of Time. I watched this like super early this morning because apparently it dropped yesterday. And I was well, yeah, apparently.
Okay.
But I was like, well, I was out with some family, so I was like, I'll watch it tomorrow morning.
Okay. I did not know that it came out early. I would have watched it last night.
I would have done the same if I would have known ahead of time.
I had work this morning, so I got up at 4:30 this morning to watch it, and then I had my morning meeting, and then I came back to make sure to do some cooking because our Thanksgiving is today. No. So I had a lot to get done today. But anyway, it was an awesome morning because I thought this episode was a major step up from what we saw in the first 3 episodes. Guys, as always, spoiler. If you haven't seen the episode, we are breaking down spoilers and talking about really, where this show is going moving forward. But I'm going to throw it to you before I get to mine. Christian, what were your, first impressions, general impressions?
So when I watched it this morning, I thought the name of the episode was Dragonborn, and I was like, that's Skyrim, not Wheel of Time. I'm like, oh, the Dragon Reborn. I'm like, I got you. Yeah, I woke up at like 5 o'clock this morning and watched it. I gotta agree, it's definitely the best episode we've had thus far. Like, it really kind of just, I guess you can say it's kind of hand-holdy. I mean, there's a lot of dialogue scenes where you have to pay attention. So this isn't like an episode where you can just like, I guess, turn on in the background and like be on your phone. Like, no, you have to pay attention. You know, this episode was pushing over a little bit over an hour. It's like an hour and 1 minute, and we got a lot of stuff with this. It's I love it so far. I mean, this is definitely, I think this is the episode. Usually it takes me about 3 to 4 episodes to kind of figure out whether I'm gonna like finish the series, but obviously like this is a contractual obligation, everyone. So I was already set on watching this, but I'm really starting to get invested into it because I'm like, okay, this, we're starting to get into like the meat and potatoes, like the nitty gritty of it. And Rosamund Pike, learning about the different Aes Sedai. They kind of have their own little like designated roles, with the blue being the spy, and then the green and the red kind of being the warrior. They're just missing the Hufflepuff of them all, the yellow. So, but we got some big reveals. I think it being 8 episodes, I think we've already gotten that reveal. But you told me earlier that one of your friends that was reading the book, and it's alluding to that, but nothing's been confirmed.
Yes.
So we'll just have to wait and see. But overall, I really, really enjoyed this episode this week.
Yeah, we're going to do our initial impressions, and then we're going to do our grades, and then we're going to break down our top 3 rankings of who we think the Dragon Reborn here is moving forward, because my buddy read the books, absolutely loves the books. He's absolutely loving this series so far. There are definitely differences compared to the books, but the way they have adapted it, he says, is still very good and truthful to the characters. So he's very much all in with this show. For me, I thought the highlight of this episode was Logain. He's played by Alvaro Morte, but I thought he really nailed that like mysterious potential Dragon Reborn in this character. I love how like watching the group of like of witches, like they're clearly threatened by his presence. They've never seen a male dragon with that much power, and they're like, you can see them each individually, like they're very scared. They're thinking, they're very threatened. Very much. I thought Logain played this like badass character, but also sympathetic at the same time. Like that in the beginning, that intro was really, really good, where you see him taking down this kingdom, and he has the castle, or the king of the castle, like dead to rights. You would think he's gonna like just dissolve him somehow with his magical powers, and sure enough, he like lets him live. And what was the comment? I thought it was a really interesting quote. He said, "The last dragon led the world. I plan to bind it." I thought that was a really cool moment by Logain. I thought he was definitely the one that carried this episode for sure. I think some of my problems with the first 3 episodes was that it felt like just a copy and paste of Lord of the Rings. Which is not a massive complaint for me because I love Lord of the Rings, man. I love those movies to death. But that was all squashed this week, especially the pacing concerns I had with the first 3 episodes. I thought a lot of this was fixed. I love the lore building we saw here. I love the character building we saw in episode 4, especially that massive moment at the end, which we'll deep dive into. I thought the show is doing a really good job of building the dynamic between, for me personally, Nynaeve and Lan and Moiraine. I love how you have like the warder and the witch, and you have Nynaeve kind of weaving in and out of that. I think that is going to be probably my favorite trio moving forward. Again, the pacing issues, the first 3 episodes were kind of way all over the place. This week, we had some slow moments, but then the characters really had their moments to shine here at the end with amazing channeling of magic, and the action was absolutely awesome. Easily best episode of this series. By far for me. I think this is the first episode where I really felt like we're heading in the right direction into that world of the Wheel of Time. So I really, obviously, really enjoyed it. It was a really strong episode. This sold it, man. This really sold it for me. And I am completely all in with where we're going moving forward because we already know that, you know, they're already greenlit season 3. So
yeah. We're halfway through this season as well.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of things, you know, pretty much echoing. It is like a lot of the pacing issues are. Thank God they are fixed because I was like, I can't do I was like, I'm gonna obviously watch it, but I was like, I'm not gonna enjoy this as much of like the pacing's just all over the place. Like and much like you said with Lan, Nynaeve, and Moiraine, those are probably my 3 favorite characters. Like honestly, the other not Dragonborn, I'm sorry, the dragon culprits or whatever you want to call them, they're not that interesting to me at all. I'm not a very big, I mean the others, I don't know, maybe the other girl, I forgot her name, she was kind of interesting.
Egwene?
Yeah, but the other 2 dudes, the other 3 guys, I'm like, get them out of here. I don't care. I just don't. But I mean, hopefully the rest of the season will, you know, prove me wrong. But as of right now, this is the Rosamund Pike and Nynaeve and Lan show. So as far as I'm concerned,
yeah, I agree. Nicole says I grade it 9 out of 10. One of my favorite episodes so far. Ben says good morning. Logan actor is a fantastic Spanish star. I did not know that. I would imagine because he was awesome. Too. Really, really strong presence in this. I'm so pleased you liked it so far. But let's talk about that ending. That ending scene was really just what, you know, moving forward is what we're all excited about in this episode. You had Moiraine just stabbed in the stomach. You had all these witches, one of the witches saves the other, which was a really strong moment. I actually found myself a little emotionally attached to her, even though she only had 5 minutes of screen time. She, you know, heals Moiraine at the beginning of this episode and makes another sacrifice for Moiraine at the end of it. So it was a really just a epic moment leading up to Nynaeve, you know, with Lan on the ground. You know, the what's his name? Logain had, you know, did a spell and threw all these splintered pieces of metal, and Lan is on the ground with a cut throat, and Nynaeve is just tries to hold the blood in while starts screaming, and you find out all along that she can channel, and she lets out this weave of magic that heals everybody. And then you see Logain looking up at Nynaeve like a radiant sun, and he knows that was the moment that Logain learned that he knows that he is not the Dragon Reborn. It was an epic moment for me. What were your thoughts on the way this episode had ended?
I loved it because, you know, we had Nynaeve go a little bit Super Saiyan there for a second. So that was pretty awesome. Or more so the Avatar state. I'm not sure which one you would refer to. But yeah, with Logain, he really just said he was just so, I don't know, the way he was talking about he as soon as he saw Nynaeve kind of like her powers kind of like, awaken from this dormant state, he was just like, oh, he was like, okay, this is crazy. But I really like how Logan has this realization that it's number one, not all about him. We know that from earlier that the Aes Sedai can only heal each other, not themselves, which I think is a really nice concept because I mean, if that was the case, Rosamund Pike would just be, you know, owning people left and right while healing herself and others. So it's very, yeah, like the Raging Sun, as Ben Butler just said. It was a nice twist because you see the one Aes Sedai that I'm blanking on her name, the one who was in it for about maybe 5-10 minute screen time, the one who died, and her I guess you can call her like her companion, like because their bond is like, I guess it's deeper than like husband and wife, man and child.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, what is this? I'm assuming it's kind of like the same bond as in if you've ever watched or read his Dark Materials, they have like these demons which take form of like animals, and the demon is literally a part of them, and you're not supposed to touch anyone else's demon because it's literally like it affects you. So like when you die, your demon dies.
Moiraine had a really cool moment, just to kind of piggyback off what you said, like in this episode at the beginning where you have Lan who's drinking and have a good time at this party, and Moiraine starts to get emotional. And he made a comment that like, you always get emotional when I drink.
Yeah.
That's like, I love that interesting dynamic. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine. I'm interested to see what this bond is between Lan and Rose and Moiraine. So it's interesting because I want to see how is this bond created and how deep does this bond go. But as I was saying for the end of the episode, it was just an all-out action fest, which is great. I mean, the CGI looked great. We got no Turks in this episode, so I think that's a good thing because I was kind of getting tired of looking at them. I'm like, Jesus, we get 3 episodes of the Turks. Can we stop for like a little bit? But it was just really nice. Apparently, I thought Nynaeve was like, she's probably my favorite character next to Rosamund Pike. I thought she was the Dragon Reborn, honestly, but apparently that's for episode 2 and 3. I wonder if like they're going to keep it guessing to where how early are they going to reveal who the Dragon Reborn is, because if they've greenlit up to season 3 at least, obviously there is more of the story to tell, but I feel like the Dragon Reborn is only one reveal.
Okay.
So I'm not sure. But I loved it. I love the ending. I sat up. I was like, okay, like yeah,
it was really, really well done. This is the first episode I like. The credits hit, and I was like, yes, let's go. Like that was a really exciting moment for Nynaeve. Ben says Logain was mad corrupted. He liked the voices in his head, hard to show on screen.
Yeah.
I thought the madness was really, really interesting because you look at Logain, like for me, I thought of the madness as like, it takes you over and you don't really have any say in this. But like, if you look at Logain, like he clearly has some amount of control. He heard the voices. He had enough control to go against the voices and remain calm. I guess we haven't read the books, but does that mean like it eventually just overwhelms you and it just gets worse and worse and worse? You kind of see that with Matt's character too. Like that's where that is going. I don't know if that's related to it or what, but Matt is now dealing with the repercussions, the consequences of taking that dagger, and you see it.
Yeah. That was pretty sad. That was a pretty sad scene when he, when they try to crash in the barn, and then, the little girl comes by. It's like, oh, like you can take my doll. Like I have hundreds of them or whatever, and she's always wanted to travel. Well, another thing I want to say that this show does, that you don't really see in a lot of other shows or anything really. They don't show children dying, but they do. They have. I mean, we saw a dead kid just on there on the ground. And I know a lot of people might find it disturbing, but they're trying to show the horror of what he committed.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, you could do like an off-screen death, but I think it was smart to at least show the body laying there, especially the small little brief connection that he had with her. And that was it was pretty powerful. It was like, wow, you never really see that in TV or films in any kind of medium. Like, I don't even think you can't even kill kids in like video games. I've tried Fable 2. It didn't work.
It was awesome. Yeah, that scene where Matt comes back to the barn, or no, Rand comes back to the barn after having this dream of the Dark One, the Fade, and sure enough, they see like the guys there with that looks like Lord Voldemort, and him and Tom go at it. That was really fun. I enjoyed that moment a lot. Like, so there's a lot of repercussions that Matt's character is going through. I thought he acted his ass off in the first 3, but I wasn't really invested in his character. But clearly, in terms of like what I'm interested in, that is definitely a step up here. How would you grade this episode out of 10, man?
I'm gonna think of this honestly, probably just like a solid 9 out of 10. This is the best episode we've gotten so far, and I hope we get more episodes like this, especially with the pacing. I really don't want this, like at any time that you try to essentially create like a new fandom and share this story, within these like 14 book adaptations. Like you don't want the show to suffer or to for it to not have a large audience only for the book readers, because yes, it's for the book readers, but it's also for ushering in like new fans like to the series, so that they may pick up the series. I mean, same thing with me and Game of Thrones. I never read it before I started watching the series, and I started picking it up, and now I absolutely love it. It was for me, for Harry Potter, it's different for a lot of us, growing up with the books and then seeing the movies. I love them both, but the film franchise, or the TV series medium, whatever you want to call it, is there to essentially get new people into this world and try to revitalize this franchise, because there's a lot of good stories out there, and I don't want like a story like The Wheel of Time to suffer because of the pacing that we saw from the first 3 episodes.
Yeah, this is strong 9 out of 10 for me. I agree with everything you just said. This was the first episode where I think it found its footing. It found what it wants to be as a show, apart from Lord of the Rings. Again, that's not a complaint, but like there's similar storylines here.
It takes a while for a show to find its footing. I mean, you see in like sitcoms all the time, like the first like 2-3 episodes of like How I Met Your Mother, especially the first season, is like nothing like the rest of the seasons. They start to find like what works, what doesn't, and you kind of go along with that. So hopefully onward from season 1, especially 2 and 3, we start to see it find its own identity.
Yep. So 9 out of 10 for me. Best of the series so far. Fully recommend this show. Just get through the first couple episodes. Third one, it slows down, and it did as well in the 4th episode. Really thickening the lore here. And just having those, allowing the characters to just breathe a little bit, and it really had a payoff at the end here, which I loved. Ben says Christian loves Fable 2.
Fable 2 was one of the best games ever created.
It's so good. I love it. I love the score in that as well. I could listen to that score.
It's great. And it, like you said, so even those people who've watched like Titans, because I know you haven't really watched Titans, and I was like, oh, like it gets good at season 3. And it's like, okay, well, in your mind, you're like, well, do I really want to suffer through 2 seasons of objectively bad television just to get to the good stuff? And I'm hoping Wheel of Time doesn't do that. This is a way more interesting story, and the characters so far are great. I think they have a good cast, and I hope that they continue to just have a great story to tell. 14 books, we really don't know how long Amazon is going to go on with this, but I really hope that more people get on board. First season watchers, it's usually not a lot of talk, and then usually when season 2 comes around, just like with Ted Lasso, not a lot of people watched Ted Lasso until season 2 came out.
Correct.
And if they saw it got nominated, season 1 got nominated for all these Emmys. And it's like, oh, I got to go back. And that's fine. I did the same thing, but I'm just saying, if you have Apple TV Plus, there's a lot of great stuff on there. Dickinson, all that stuff. Great stuff. Very underrated platform. But Amazon's been in the streaming game for a while, and they have stuff like The Boys that works, and hopefully either with this and the Lord of the Rings, they'll have something,
Eagles Uncensored Podcast says, "What's good, guys?" Ben says, "This is a good finish to the first half of the season."
Yeah.
You notice that Moraine delayed Logain because she was not strong enough to hold him. I think that was pretty much, I agree. Yeah, like they needed every single person in that room. It was probably 8 witches. I think they had 7 sisters, and then Moraine, fighting against Logain there. And they clearly needed every single one of them to slow him down. And they eventually took his power away from him. It was awesome. Just an awesome.
They've purged and cleansed him. We're not even at the tower yet. So it's what's the tower gonna look like? All these Aes Sedais everywhere. So
which is cool. We literally just got out of the 2 rivers. And I feel like this is a strong direction for the series for sure.
Amen.
All right, let's wrap it up. Top 3 Dragon Reborn power rankings. Let's lead off with number 1. Who you think is the Dragon Reborn reveal? Because a lot of what this episode was about is characters. We have kind of weaving stories going on with different groups of characters, and they're talking about really the same thing, but just discussing with each of their factions and different philosophies and so forth. Who do you think is the Dragon Reborn? Because my buddy said it looks at the end, Nynaeve, it looks like Nynaeve is the Dragon Reborn. However, my buddy said that's not the case. So that's not officially done. Although, it is the book versus the TV show, and there's adaptations and modifications to the stories and so forth. But I'll say Nynaeve is my number 1. Is that Nynaeve your number 1?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let's go. I think we all agree there.
Yeah, she's fantastic, and it's anytime she's on screen, she steals it. Yeah. Zoe Robbins, congratulations, good stuff.
Especially her dynamic with Lan. I think.
Oh yeah,
I love that. I don't know. I think there's a romance budding there for sure. That's going to be really fun to watch. Who's your number 2?
I'm actually gonna go with I think it's
you're gonna go
the other girl.
You're gonna go Egwene?
Egwene, yeah, Egwene? the other girl, yeah. And then what about you?
Yeah, I would probably go if we're thinking your typical tropes, your typical cliches, the hero becomes the Dragon Reborn, and that'd probably be Rand, right? If you were probably to narrow it down, that would be too cliche. But I like the choice of Egwene. She can hear the trees speaking, whether it's to her or vice versa. We don't know yet. Egwene's a good choice. We don't really know much about her character other than she definitely wants power over Rand, which I dig. On my end, I'm good with that. She's definitely curious. I like she has a curious nature about her. Is it going to go the Eternals route where the Dragon Reborn, it's not about your power set per se. It's more about who you are as a person and why you would be a leader, why you would lead, why that makes you the Dragon Reborn. Maybe, I don't know. I will say Rand is my number 2. Rand is my number 2 for me. Any thoughts on that? And who's your number 3?
I kind of like Rand, but see, it's so hard between Rand and then Matt, and then the wolf dude, Perrin. It's I really don't know. That is so difficult. I guess it would be Perrin. I would choose him over Rand or Matt. I'm honestly just that's just a shot in the dark, to be completely honest with you. Yeah. I have no freaking clue, whatsoever, because I'm trying to figure out who's the person we haven't really paid too much attention to. Is that the route that they're going to be oh well, XYZ, Perrin's the Dragon Reborn. But yeah, my number 3 would probably have to be Perrin. I don't know why. I'm just guessing at this point.
Yeah, I'm gonna cheat a little bit and say you alluded to it in our chat and say all of them.
Yeah, that's
I'm gonna go because I'm thinking like Captain Planet in my head, where you have like where you have Egwene like putting her hand and going wind. And
it's like Exodia. You need all 5 pieces to summon Exodia. You need all 5 pieces to summon the Dragon Reborn.
And Perrin goes wolf. And like Rand will go like steel. Like maybe he's like the warrior.
Yeah,
something along those lines. But that's my.
Maybe I mean Perrin killed his wife accidentally, but that was a brutal kill.
That's all right, let's wrap it up. Obviously, we're very high on episode 4. If you haven't checked it out, it's on Amazon Prime. Very, very strong stuff so far. Is 9 out of 10 is our best review grade here of the series so far. But guys, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for everyone who commented. Christian, what do you got going on, man? Where can we find you, bro? You're muted, man.
Sorry about that. So as you can see below next to my name, you can follow our podcast, Film Optics. That is Optics with an X, on platforms on podcast platforms around the internet. We actually just dropped our Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 review from our movie series review that we're doing. We're going to be starting a new one soon as well, so definitely keep follow us on Twitter for that announcement. And we also dropped our episode 1 and 2 of Hawkeye on our podcast as well. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, just not YouTube. We're not there anymore. I'm sorry, but we love to fill your ear with some amazing hot takes. So you can also find us on Instagram at Film Optics. So that's pretty much it so far. We're going to be covering Matrix 4 and Spider-Man No Way Home. It's almost here. Very excited.
Love it. Movie. Make sure to follow Film Optics. Make sure to check them out. Awesome stuff. Tonight is, if you're watching us on Friday, Black Friday, we have our Christmas movie trivia tonight. We've got 5 people competing, and I've got some really tough questions that I'm really excited to make people drink, essentially. Because if they get it wrong, I get to give a drink to someone. It's all
nice. That'll be fun. I'll definitely have to tune in and check it out. My parents are in town, so maybe something we can do to chill.
Yeah.
The week. Yeah.
Love it. So that's 8 p.m. East Coast time. We have our Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3 review, getting ready for No Way Home. That will be coming out shortly. And of course, our Christmas movie draft, that is December 11th at 8 p.m. East Coast time. A couple Saturdays from now, my man Christian over there, he's already got the W. He's got a place in our Tournament of Champions. That genre I can't announce yet. It's going to be a ton of fun. A ton of fun. I can't wait to announce that. But guys, thank you everyone for watching. For Christian, for myself, thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe. Stay awesome, everybody.
Bye.